On this walk for the comic strips murals, I kind of got lost, and it's kind of strange. I feel, well, I think I'm back in New York, which is really weird because I was in Belgium maybe 20 minutes ago. But I'll keep looking, I'll keep going forward, and we'll see where we are. No, actually I was kidding. This is actually Brussels. It's just an alley, a side street of the city, and it does look like New York.
I love Bristol. Bristol, love.
You love Brussels? Nice. I love it too. But yeah, as you can tell, there's a French accent. So yeah, we're clearly in Belgium, and they love Americans. Hey guys, how's it going? Today we are in the center of the city and we have another really cool vlog going on. We're actually going to be doing a tour of all the Belgian murals in Brussels of the comic strips. So this behind me is a comic strip store where they actually sell a bunch of comic strips that are made from Belgium and also other countries like France and also Japanese mangas and stuff like that. But well, Belgium is specialized in doing a lot of comic strips, and the city of Brussels maybe 30 years ago started doing this whole thing, well, artistic thing basically, where they decorated a lot of houses with comic strip fresques or murals. And yeah, we're gonna go on a tour of that and we're gonna explore, and yeah, it's gonna be visually interesting. The Brussels comic book route began in 1991 as an initiative of the local authorities of the city of Brussels in collaboration with the Belgian Comic Strip Center. Today, the Brussels comic book route offers more than 50 mural paintings, most of them located within the city center. Here's a nice mural that we found. This is basically the comic strip of Asterix and Obelix, which technically is not a Belgian comic strip. It's actually a French comic strip, which follows the adventures of Asterix and Obelix. And what do they do on their adventures? They often go and they fight the Romans, because the Romans are basically trying to take over their town. They're called Les Gaulois, which is basically a region of France, and they are basically the only region that apparently has been able to survive being conquered from the Romans. And it's a very, very fun comic strip that has been going on for many, many years. And even though the main author has passed away, it still continues on and is very, very popular. And there's actually a bunch of movies that are based on the subject, and a bunch of cartoons, and so many things. So even if you're an English speaker, you will be able to find these comic strips in English, and they really are worth reading and checking out the movies too. Art Mural is the association that is behind all of these comic strip murals. This association was created by 5 artists in 1984, mainly aimed to create mural paintings in public areas. Since 1993, it has been devoted to the creation of new murals for the Brussels comic book route, with a rhythm of 2 to 3 new works per year. This is a Belgian comic strip, and the real good, well, gimmick of the whole thing is that basically Lucky Luke shoots faster than his shadow. So when they even made the cartoon adaptation of the comic strips, they would have in the intro of the cartoon, they would have him shooting faster than his shadow. And I always thought that was really cool as a 4-year-old kid when I first saw this. And then afterwards, obviously, I read the comic strips too. And in the background on this mural, what's cool is that you can see Les Dalton, which is the arch enemy of Lucky Luke. And I think that they just, maybe they stole money from a bank and they're trying to get away from Lucky Luke, but I'm pretty sure that he's going to catch up with them. Initially, the comic book art murals was a project that only intended to embellish empty walls and gables of buildings in the city. It then became an opportunity to celebrate the rich comic book heritage of Brussels, which claims to be the capital of the comic strip. The mural behind me is called Les Broussailles, which is based on the comic strip Les Broussailles. And what's interesting about this mural is that it's actually the first one that they did in 1991 in order to start this art walk, this BD walk, comic strip walk in the center of Brussels. And yeah, I'll be honest, I didn't usually actually read this comic strip as a kid, but it does look cool. And the two main protagonists, they're walking in the city of Brussels, and we are in the city of Brussels, and yeah, we got to talk about it because it is the first one that was made, and without it, we wouldn't have all these comic strip murals in the center. Belgium loves its comic strips. In the Franco-Belgian world, they're known as the ninth art, one of those slightly odd phrases that has lost all context. The more important term to know is bande dessinée, also known as BD, a local definition that covers everything from a 4-frame comic strip in a newspaper to a gritty modern graphic novel. And in Belgium, they're everywhere. This is the power of Belgium. As you can see in the background, there's a mural. I turn around, there's another mural. And then if I look in this street, there's decorated houses and another decorated house and really cool European style architecture. And yeah, it is noteworthy to be living and walking in basically a city that is a museum and filled with art. Following its trail, the comic book route is a good way to discover the capital and even visit some neighborhoods that are less known by tourists. This is a pretty cool little find. So I'm walking here in the center of Brussels, and what do I find? Somebody had fun painting a sort of sea-like painting on the floor, and then it becomes kind of like sand-like, making it look very beach-like basically. And as you well know, Belgium is very gray, so having a bit of color always was a pleasant surprise. Being in Brussels, as you can tell, there's a lot of comic strip stores highlighting many wonderful comics from Belgium. And one thing that I did want to highlight too is, ta-da! Here we have the mural of Tintin with Captain Haddock and Snowy going down the stairs. And this was actually my favorite comic strip as a kid. I have mentioned it in other videos, and that's why every time that I see something that has to do with Tintin, I always got to say, hi Tintin, I love him so much. He made me want to travel, he made me want to explore the world, and who knows, maybe the reason that I actually went to America and I'm actually so in love of storytelling and making movies might be because of Tintin and the adventures that he made me dream of as a young child. This mural is probably the most famous and recognizable mural from the whole comic strip tour. After all, Tintin is extremely important because this comic strip is what ignited the initial spark that made the Brussels comic scene what it is today. Even though the subject of this video is about murals, about comic strips and stuff like that, we are in the city of Brussels and in Belgium, and I did want to highlight that there are many tapestry shops. Why are there tapestry shops? Well, because Belgium is known for its fine tapestries with very beautiful detail, and it's just a historic part of Belgium that I did feel like highlighting. And as you can tell, they are extremely beautiful, super detailed, and actually not too expensive to buy. And if you are in Belgium, I would really recommend going to one of these stores or maybe going to one of the museums because it is worth looking at them. The term tapestry comes from the Old French tapisserie, meaning to cover with heavy fabric. From the 15th to 17th century, tapestry making was a primary industry in Belgium, then known as Flanders, between the Netherlands and France. That rivalry was woven into the tapestry industry, as cities competed to find new techniques and dyes that allowed for greater detail and subtlety of shading. One thing that you must understand about comic strips is that yes, there are many comic strips like Spirou, Les Schtroumpfs, Gaston Lagaffe, Tintin, that are more oriented towards very young readers. But there are also some other comic strips, such as the one that is right here, which is called Torgal. And this one is actually a comic strip that is based on Scandinavian mythology. It's more geared towards adult audiences, but it is compatible for kids too. It's not as bad as Game of Thrones. But yeah, not all comic strips are oriented for kids, and this is one of them. Since we are on this comic strip tour, I did want to mention a building in the center of the city that is fully dedicated to comic strips. Behind me we have the Comics Arts Museum, which basically is the Museum of Comic Strips in Brussels, and I would love to go inside and show you guys, but you know, there's a pandemic happening, and I think there might be ways of going to see it if you get an appointment, but I didn't get one. But yeah, I still did want to highlight it, and it'll be maybe in a future video, so be sure to subscribe to my channel and maybe we'll have that video in the future. But for now, we'll just have to be happy with this, so enjoy the facade. The regularly renewed permanent exhibitions and a diversified program of temporary exhibitions enable its visitors to discover the countless aspects of comic art. On an interesting note, the museum building was designed in 1905 by world-famous architect Victor Horta in Art Nouveau style. The Comic Arts Museum is just as much a tribute to the pioneers as a glimpse of contemporary comic arts. This is something that I really appreciate about Belgium. It's so calm, and there's not much that happens, especially nothing exciting. Nothing really happens. Oh shit, look! Oh! Sorry, I worried for nothing. It's Ricochet. He's on an investigation. The guy got a little bit surprised by that, but I know that he's going to be able to solve the mystery. Ricochet is one of those hyperactive characters of the comic strip world. A journalist and very athletic, he pursues his investigations at the wheel of his Porsche. One thing that I've noticed that is very frequent in Belgium is that there's a lot of statues that pee. So there's the mannequin piece, the Anneke piece, and here there's a little doggy that's peeing. So I don't know what's up with Belgians and peeing, but you know what? Maybe it has to do with the fact that it always rains in Belgium. This cute doggy statue was erected in 1998 and is actually called Het Zinneke, which in Brussels dialect means the mutt. Belgians also call the statue Zinneke piece, which is obviously an analogy to the mannequin piece statue of the little peeing boy. Behind me we have the mural of Spirou, and as you can tell there's many characters in that mural, but if you look on the side next to Spirou there's a blonde guy, and that guy's name is Fantasio, that's his best friend. And then there's also a little squirrel, and that's also the pet of Spirou. Spirou is the guy in the red bellhop suit. Yes, he does work in a hotel, but they do go on adventures, and it was one of my favorite comic strips as a kid. The Spirou mural fits in perfectly with the Marolles district, where second-hand dealers reign supreme. Le Marolles district is without a doubt one of the best known in Brussels, particularly due to its famous flea market. Life is art after all, and even though we're looking at murals and we're trying to find the best comic strips, we can't forget that without artists, there wouldn't be art. And art comes in all forms, not just comic strips. It comes in TV, film, paintings, sculptures, even architecture. As I mentioned, even the architecture in Belgium is beautiful. And sometimes you just have to be willing to open up your eyes and realize that art is right in front of you. Not too far from the city center, there's a huge mural of Le Chat. This is the second mural devoted to this comic series, the first being on the Boulevard du Midi. One of my favorite places in Etterbeek is the murals of Le Chat, which actually go through the whole length of the wall. And Le Chat is kind of our version of Garfield. It used to be in this newspaper called Le Soir, and it ran from 1983 to 2013. And it's a really interesting little comic strip because the cat is dressed like a human being, and kind of like Garfield, it's supposed to be humoristic, but he always has something very witty to say, and he is one of our mascots of Belgium, so really cool to highlight him. This mural really represents how Brussels is, with the trams, the people walking around, the coffee shops, and yeah, if Brussels were a comic strip, I'm pretty sure that's how it would look like. Brussels is really a very urban city with public transportation, busy streets, and people enjoying a beer or a meal at a local brasserie. This kind of makes it the perfect city for a spy espionage comic strip like 13, about an amnesiac that goes on an investigation to remember his past. As you can see, we're actually in front of a cab, and the hero of 13 is actually going to grab it, so I'm going to hitch a ride with him. So, well, yeah. Just be sure to subscribe, hit the like button, leave me a comment, and yeah, he's kind of getting impatient, so I'm gonna go grab my cab. Bye!